You know that feeling at the end of the day when your legs feel like they belong to someone twice your age. Heavy, sluggish, maybe a little swollen around the ankles, a tingling that comes and goes in your feet, a pulling in your calves when you climb the stairs that wasn't there 5 years ago. Most people over 50 feel something like this daily. They sit down, put their feet up, tell themselves, it's just tiredness, just age, just the way things are now. Here is what they don't know. Those sensations are not tiredness. They are not just age. They are your circulation, asking for help, quietly, persistently, in the only language your blood vessels know. And the reason most people miss it is that the thing causing those symptoms, the real thing, the dangerous thing, produces no dramatic warning, no sudden pain, no alarm that goes off in the middle of the night. Just a slow, silent narrowing of the pathways that carry blood to your legs, your heart, your brain. Clots form quietly, plaques build quietly, blood flow drops quietly, until one day it isn't quiet anymore. I want to talk to you today about something most doctors never bring up in a standard appointment. Not because it isn't important, it is enormously important, but because it doesn't come in a prescription bottle, and it doesn't fit neatly into a 15-minute consultation. 6 natural oils, specific ones, with specific mechanisms, specific evidence, and specific ways of using them that make a measurable difference to what is happening inside your arteries right now. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will understand exactly what is happening in those vessels, exactly which oils address it, and exactly how to start using them today. Number 1 on this list may surprise you more than any supplement you have ever been recommended. Before we get to the oils, I need you to understand what is actually happening inside your arteries, because most people have a vague sense that circulation problems are bad without understanding the mechanism. And the mechanism is what makes these oils so important. Think of your circulatory system as a network of highways. When you are young, those highways are wide, smooth, and clear. Blood moves freely, oxygen reaches every destination on schedule, and the entire system runs without you ever noticing it. After 60, the road surface changes. Decades of low-grade inflammation, oxidized fats from the wrong cooking oils, blood sugar fluctuations, stress hormones, and simple biological aging begin to deposit material along the inner walls of those highways. Plaque, calcification, inflammatory debris that accumulates in layers over years. The highways narrow, the traffic your blood slows. In your legs, slowed circulation means heavy limbs, swelling, cramping, that pulling sensation on the stairs. In your coronary arteries, it means the heart working harder to push blood through increasingly resistant vessels. In the small vessels of the brain, it means subtle cognitive changes, the slight fogginess, the slower recall that most people attribute to aging but are often, in part, vascular. And in every case, the process is the same. Inflammation damages the vessel lining. Oxidized particles embed in the damaged walls. The immune system sends repair cells that accumulate and harden. The lumen, the open channel through which blood flows, gets smaller. Your body is not passive in this process. It is constantly attempting to repair, to maintain, to keep those pathways open. What you give it either supports that effort or undermines it. That is where these 6 oils come in. Each one works through a specific mechanism. Together, they address inflammation, oxidation, blood viscosity, vessel wall flexibility, and cholesterol balance, the 5 core drivers of arterial disease. Not as a replacement for your medication, not as a cure, as genuine evidence-backed nutritional support for a body that is fighting to keep your blood moving. Let me show you what they do. If this is useful to you, and I believe it will be, please share it with someone you care about. Like this video so that more people over 60 can find it. And subscribe, because every week I bring you this kind of honest, evidence-based information. Scientific references for everything I discussed today are in the description below. Now, the 6 oils. Starting with number 6 and building toward the one the research keeps coming back to. Oil number 6, extra virgin olive oil. Most people think olive oil is just a healthier cooking fat, a Mediterranean habit, something you drizzle on a salad to feel slightly virtuous. That is a significant underestimation of what this oil does inside your body. Extra virgin olive oil, and I want to emphasize extra virgin, because the processing matters enormously, contains a compound called oleocanthal, Oleocanthal is a natural anti-inflammatory that works through a mechanism strikingly similar to ibuprofen. Same pathway, same enzyme inhibition, without the gastrointestinal side effects or the cardiovascular risks that come with regular NSAID use. But that is not all it does. Olive oil is rich in monounsaturated fats, specifically oleic acid, which has been shown to reduce LDL oxidation, the process by which LDL cholesterol becomes the sticky, damaging form that embeds in arterial walls. Regular LDL is not the primary problem. Oxidized LDL is. Olive oil targets the oxidation step directly. The evidence from Mediterranean populations is some of the most consistent in nutritional research. People consuming 3 to 4 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil daily show measurably lower rates of cardiovascular events, lower inflammatory markers, and better arterial flexibility than those eating comparable diets with different fat sources. The Predimed trial, one of the largest dietary intervention studies ever conducted, found that a Mediterranean diet supplemented with extra virgin olive oil reduced major cardiovascular events by 30% compared to a low-fat control diet, 30%, from an oil most people already have in their kitchen. How to use it: 2 tablespoons daily, raw, on salads, drizzled over cooked vegetables, mixed into food after cooking. Heat degrades the polyphenols, the compounds responsible for much of the benefit, so use it raw wherever possible for the therapeutic effect. Light sautéing at moderate temperature is acceptable. High heat is not. Pair it with fiber-rich vegetables and whole grains. The fiber slows cholesterol absorption in the gut, and the olive oil's polyphenols reduce the oxidation of whatever cholesterol does enter the bloodstream. Together, they work. Within weeks of consistent daily use, most people notice lighter digestion and improved energy. Over months, the data shows meaningful improvement in LDL profile and blood pressure. Over years, it shows in the arteries themselves. Did you know that people in Crete, one of the highest olive oil consuming populations in the world, had some of the lowest rates of cardiovascular disease ever recorded in epidemiological research? Despite moderately high total fat intake, the fat was not the problem. The source was everything. This is not a magic cure. It is not a replacement for your prescribed medications. It is a daily nutritional habit with decades of evidence behind it. That is what I am offering you here, not miracles, just real mechanisms. Oil number 5, avocado oil. Most people associate avocados with trendy restaurant food. The oil rarely gets mentioned at all. That is a mistake. Avocado oil has one of the highest concentrations of monounsaturated fats of any plant oil, even higher than olive oil. But what makes it particularly valuable for circulation is its effect on inflammation at the cellular level. The cell membranes of your arterial wall cells are made partly of fats. The type of fats you consume influences the composition of those membranes. When the membranes contain higher proportions of healthy monounsaturated fats, the cells remain more flexible, more responsive, and less prone to the inflammatory cascade that initiates plaque formation. Think of it as the difference between a membrane made of fresh rubber and one made of old, hardened material. The fresh membrane bends, the old one cracks, and cracks in arterial wall cells are where plaque begins. Avocado oil also contains beta-sitosterol, a plant sterol that competes with cholesterol for absorption in the digestive tract. Less cholesterol absorbed means less circulating in the bloodstream. Less circulating means less available to oxidize and embed in vessel walls. A study published in the Archives of Medical Research found that daily avocado oil consumption significantly reduced triglycerides and LDL, while raising HDL, the protective cholesterol that carries debris away from arterial walls, rather than depositing it there. How to use it. Avocado oil has a high smoke point, which makes it one of the better options for cooking at moderate to high heat, without the damaging oxidation that destroys the benefit of more delicate oils. 1 to 2 tablespoons for cooking. Use it where you would otherwise use seed oils, canola, sunflower, corn. That substitution alone removes a significant source of pro-inflammatory omega-6 from your daily diet. Short term, most people report cleaner digestion and reduced bloating when they replace seed oils with avocado oil. Long term, the cholesterol and inflammatory benefits accumulate steadily. Did you know that avocado oil is one of the few plant oils with a fatty acid profile similar to olive oil but with a significantly higher tolerance for heat. For seniors who cook regularly, it is one of the most practical daily swaps available. Not a cure, a consistent, practical daily choice with real biological impact. Oil number 4, pumpkin seed oil. This one surprises people. Almost nobody mentions it, which is a genuine shame. Most people think of pumpkin seeds as a snack if they think of them at all. The oil pressed from those seeds is something different entirely. Pumpkin seed oil is rich in phytosterols, delta-7 sterols specifically, that have a unique affinity for vascular tissue. Research has shown these compounds support the elasticity of blood vessel walls, their ability to expand and contract in response to blood flow, rather than remaining rigid under pressure. Remember the garden hose analogy. A flexible hose absorbs pressure. A rigid one cracks under it. Pumpkin seed oil directly supports the flexibility of those walls. It also contains significant amounts of zinc and magnesium. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, including the regulation of vascular tone, the tension in the smooth muscle that lines your blood vessel walls. Low magnesium is directly associated with arterial stiffness and elevated blood pressure. Pumpkin seed oil provides meaningful amounts through a food source, which is absorbed more reliably than many supplement forms. A study in phytotherapy research found that pumpkin seed oil supplementation reduced diastolic blood pressure in postmenopausal women, a population particularly vulnerable to arterial stiffening after the loss of estrogens. Protective vascular effects. How to use it. Pumpkin seed oil is not a cooking oil. Heat damages it quickly. Use 1 tablespoon daily, raw, drizzled over salads or soups after cooking. It has a rich, nutty flavor that works well with grain bowls and roasted vegetables. Pair it with high-fiber foods for maximum cholesterol benefit. Over weeks, many people notice reduced leg heaviness and improved circulation to the extremities. Over months, the blood pressure data from consistent use is meaningful. Did you know that pumpkin seed oil has been used in traditional Eastern European medicine for circulatory and urinary health for centuries, long before the mechanisms were understood? The traditional use predicted the science. Not a replacement for your care. A targeted addition with specific evidence for vascular flexibility. Oil number 3, sesame oil. Here is a misconception worth addressing directly. Many people assume sesame oil is purely a flavoring, a finishing touch you add to stir-fry, a condiment, not a therapeutic food. The research does not support that assumption. Sesame oil contains 2 unique lignans, sesamin and sesamolin, that are found in almost no other dietary source. These compounds are converted in the gut to active forms that have been shown to inhibit the absorption of cholesterol in the small intestine and reduce its synthesis in the liver simultaneously. 2 mechanisms, 1 food. They also function as potent antioxidants, specifically within the cardiovascular system, protecting LDL particles from the oxidation that makes them dangerous. Not just reducing LDL quantity, protecting LDL quality. That distinction matters enormously. A study published in the Yale Journal of Biology and Medicine found that patients supplementing with sesame oil alongside their standard antihypertensive medication showed significantly greater reductions in blood pressure, oxidative stress markers, and LDL oxidation compared to medication alone. Alongside medication, not instead of it. How to use it. 1 tablespoon of cold-pressed sesame oil daily, added to food raw or in light cooking. The toasted variety used in Asian cooking has a stronger flavor but lower therapeutic potency for cardiovascular benefit. Choose cold-pressed, untoasted. Add it to dressings. Drizzle over grain bowls. Mix into sauces. Stack it with fiber-rich vegetables. The fiber binds bile acids in the gut, forcing the liver to pull cholesterol from the bloodstream to make more. The sesame oil compounds reduce how much comes back. Together, they create a meaningful cholesterol-lowering effect without pharmaceuticals. Short-term, the antioxidant effect begins working quickly. Oxidative markers can shift within weeks of consistent use. Long-term, the combination of cholesterol absorption inhibition and LDL oxidation protection addresses 2 of the 3 key steps in arterial plaque formation. Did you know that populations in Japan and Southeast Asia, among the highest sesame oil consumers in the world, consistently show lower rates of cardiovascular disease, despite other dietary risk factors? Researchers have specifically investigated sesame lignans as a contributing factor. Not magic. Consistent biochemistry. applied daily. Oil number 2, almond oil. Most people know almonds. The oil is far less familiar, and it deserves attention specifically for one function that most circulation conversations never address. Almond oil is exceptionally high in vitamin E, specifically alpha-tocopherol, the most biologically active form. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant that does something specific and important inside your arterial walls. It intercepts the oxidation of LDL cholesterol at the point where it would otherwise embed in the vessel wall lining. Think of it as a protective shield, stationed at the arterial wall itself. Not just reducing the amount of LDL circulating, but actively preventing the oxidative transformation that makes circulating LDL into a structural threat. Almond oil also contains arginine, an amino acid that is a precursor to nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is your blood vessel's natural vasodilator. It signals the smooth muscle in arterial walls to relax and widen, increasing blood flow and reducing the pressure against which the heart must pump. This is the same mechanism targeted by an entire class of blood pressure medications. Almond oil supports it through a dietary pathway, with a safety profile that decades of consumption have confirmed. A study in the Journal of Nutrition found that daily almond consumption, from which almond oil derives its therapeutic compounds, reduced LDL cholesterol by up to 9.4% while maintaining HDL. Meaningful reductions without pharmaceutical intervention. How to use it. 1 tablespoon daily, raw. Mild flavor works well in smoothies, drizzled over oatmeal or salads. It can be used for very light cooking at low temperatures, but raw use preserves the vitamin E content most effectively. Pair it with foods containing soluble fiber, oats, beans, pears, which further reduce LDL absorption in the gut. The combination of fiber-based LDL reduction and vitamin E-based LDL oxidation protection addresses the cholesterol problem from 2 angles simultaneously. Over weeks, many people report improved circulation to the hands and feet, warmer extremities, less tingling. Over months, consistent users show meaningful improvements in cholesterol ratios and blood pressure markers. Did you know that almond oil has one of the highest vitamin E concentrations of any edible oil, containing more than twice the vitamin E per tablespoon than olive oil? For antioxidant protection of arterial walls specifically, very few foods compete with it. Not a cure, a daily shield. Consistent, evidence-backed, within reach, today. Oil number 1, flaxseed oil. This is the one the research keeps returning to. And when you understand what it contains and what that compound does inside the human body, the consistency of the evidence makes complete sense. Flaxseed oil is the richest plant source of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, the plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. Your body converts ALA to EPA and DHA, the active omega-3 forms that work directly in the cardiovascular system. The conversion rate from plant-based ALA is lower than from marine sources, which is why flaxseed oil is not a complete replacement for fish oil and omega-3 supplementation. But what it provides in combination with its other compounds makes it uniquely powerful for arterial health specifically. Here is what omega-3 fatty acids do in the cardiovascular system. They reduce triglycerides, the fats that circulate in blood after meals, and contribute to plaque buildup by 20 to 30% with consistent daily use. They reduce blood viscosity, meaning the blood flows more freely through narrowed vessels. They reduce platelet aggregation, the clumping of blood cells that initiates clot formation. And they reduce the inflammatory signaling that drives the arterial damage cycle from the beginning. Not one mechanism, 4 simultaneously. Flaxseed oil also contains lignans, the same class of compounds found in sesame oil, but in significantly higher concentrations. These lignin compounds have antioxidant activity specifically in vascular tissue and have been shown to reduce systolic blood pressure meaningfully with consistent use. A meta-analysis published in Nutrition Reviews found that flaxseed supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 2.85 millimeters Hg and diastolic by 2.39 millimeters Hg. In a population where every point of pressure reduction matters for arterial wall integrity, those numbers are clinically meaningful. And there is one more thing flaxseed oil does that none of the other oils on this list do as directly. It supports the repair of damaged endothelium, the single-cell lining of the blood vessel wall, that is both the first site of arterial damage and the primary target of every intervention that restores circulation. The endothelium is where everything starts, Damage the endothelium, and the plaque cycle begins. Support the endothelium, and the body's own repair mechanisms can begin addressing what years of inflammation have accumulated. Flaxseed oil supports the endothelium. That is why it is number 1. How to use it. 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, always raw. Flaxseed oil oxidizes rapidly at heat cooking. With it destroys its benefit entirely and creates the same damaged fats it is meant to protect you against. Add it to smoothies. Drizzle it over salads or vegetables after cooking. Mix it into yogurt. Store it in the refrigerator and use it within weeks of opening. Rancid flaxseed oil is counterproductive. For maximum benefit, pair it with ground flaxseed as well. The whole seed provides additional fiber and lignans that complement the oil's omega-3 content. The combination addresses cholesterol, inflammation, blood pressure, and vessel wall repair in a single daily habit. Short term, within 2 to 4 weeks of daily use, most people notice reduced leg heaviness and improved warmth in the extremities, direct signals of better peripheral circulation. Over months, the cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammatory marker improvements become measurable. Did you know that populations with the highest dietary omega-3 intake consistently show the lowest rates of cardiovascular disease worldwide, across cultures, across dietary patterns, across generations? The association between omega-3 fatty acids and arterial health is one of the most replicated findings in nutritional research. Flaxseed oil brings that association to your kitchen table. Not a magic cure. The most evidence-supported daily nutritional intervention for arterial health available without a prescription. That is number 1. Let me bring this together, because I want you leaving with something clear and usable. 6 oils, each one working through a specific mechanism, together covering every major driver of arterial narrowing and poor circulation. Extra virgin olive oil reduces LDL oxidation and systemic inflammation, 2 tablespoons daily, raw. Avocado oil supports cell membrane flexibility and reduces cholesterol absorption, 1 to 2 tablespoons, used in place of seed oils for cooking. Pumpkin seed oil supports arterial wall elasticity and provides magnesium for vascular tone, 1 tablespoon daily, raw. Sesame oil inhibits cholesterol absorption and protects LDL from oxidation simultaneously, 1 tablespoon daily, raw or in light cooking. Almond oil provides vitamin E as a direct arterial wall shield and supports nitric oxide production, 1 tablespoon daily, raw. Flaxseed oil omega-3 fatty acids reduce triglycerides, blood viscosity, platelet aggregation, and inflammation simultaneously, 1 to 2 tablespoons daily, always raw, always refrigerated. You do not need to start all 6 at once. That is not how sustainable change works. Start with 1. The one that feels most accessible, most realistic for how you currently eat. Use it consistently for 2 weeks. Notice how your legs feel at the end of the day. Notice your digestion. Notice your energy. Then add a second. Small daily habits, consistent over months. That is how arteries change. Not overnight, not dramatically, but measurably, meaningfully, in ways your body will tell you about long before your next blood test confirms it. You are not helpless in this. I want to be clear about that, because I have sat with patients who believed that arterial damage was simply the price of getting older, that the heaviness in their legs and the swelling in their ankles and the tightness in their chest on the stairs were just the way things were now. Inevitable, irreversible. They are not. The body's capacity to respond to what you give it does not expire at 60 or 70 or 80. The endothelium can be supported. Inflammation can be reduced. Blood viscosity can improve. Arterial walls can become more flexible than they are today. Not infinitely, not without limit, but measurably, genuinely. You are not too old for this. Not even close. Which of these 6 oils are you going to start with? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and your answer helps other people in this community understand what is accessible and what is working in real lives, not just in research papers. If this video gave you something useful, please share it. Send it to someone over 60 who complains about heavy legs and cold feet and has never once connected those symptoms to their circulation. That share might be the most important thing you do today. And if you want to go deeper on restoring blood flow and protecting your arteries through food and lifestyle, subscribe. There is much more important ground to cover, and we are just getting started. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking your health seriously enough to spend this time learning. Your body has been carrying you through every decade of your life, through everything you have faced, without ever asking for a single day off. It deserves this attention. Give it what it needs. Everything I have shared today is general information based on current research and my clinical experience. It is not personal medical advice, and it is not a replacement for your prescribed medications or your relationship with your own doctor. Before making significant changes to your diet or supplement routine, please have that conversation with your physician. They know your full picture. I only know what I can share here. And what I can share here is this. Your arteries are not finished responding to what you give them. Start giving them something better, starting today.